we have Christianity, the culture that led to your having these freedoms and this beautiful life and all that, and you have issues with this. You have anger and all that directed at this religion, and then we have Islam, the religion which is the most oppressive religion in the world, the most destructive religion in the world, that is also threatening to take over your society. And you're like, oh, we don't want to talk bad about that.
Why do radical leftists love radical Islam? Take a look at this clip over here where the so-called apostate prophet, as he's called on YouTube, has a discussion over here on a Christian podcast talking about what is it that unites the radical left and radical Islamists. So we'll watch this clip together and then talk about it. But first, hit that subscribe button over there in the corner. We'd love to stay in touch. Check this out.
The thing is, I remember like 10 years ago, there was this whole idea that, wow, Christianity is dying and atheism is rising. Soon everyone is going to be an atheist. Look at the statistics and all that. And
look how rational we'll be.
And
pregnant men. Wait, what? How do we get to that?
It quickly got out of hand. You know?
Yeah, like that escalated quickly. Yes. That line from Anchorman.
Yes. And the thing is, there's also this hypocrisy, which I noticed from my own side as an ex-Muslim, where you have these non-Christian or ex-Christian atheists who go out and talk about how bad religion is, but then when the topic of Islam comes, they're like, whoa. Hold on.
Isn't that wild?
Let's not be bigoted. Let's not be Islamophobic. It's like, wait a minute. So we have Christianity, the culture that led to your having these freedoms and this beautiful life and all that. And you have issues with this. You have anger and all that directed at this religion. And then we have Islam, the religion which is the most oppressive religion in the world, the most destructive religion in the world, that is also threatening to take over your society. And you're like, oh, we don't want to talk bad about that. Seriously? This doesn't seem very rational.
Yeah,
and
it is interesting.
And there are lots of people, to be fair, in the new atheist sphere who have spoken about Islam and who have criticized Islam and who have acknowledged it. But it's always just, oh yeah, you know, that's a secondary or issue or a lesser issue. And when you actually speak about Islam and are critical of it, you get lots of leftist atheist pushback. Like, I mean, they to this day, the atheist leftist circles are calling on and trying to cancel Bill Maher because he doesn't like Islam. Like, so many people just...
Isn't that wild? Leftism and Islam?
Yeah.
Like, what a weird bedfellows.
It is very, very...
What accounts for that, do you think? Is it demonic? Is it that... And I don't know how far you are down your Christian journey, so you might not be comfortable with that language, but I wonder if both leftism, at least at the far fringes of it, and Islam are both enemies of Christianity.
I would say it comes down to some simpler explanations, which are that it has a lot to do with people being just stupid and ignorant. And
I read this meme once. It said, you know, everything happens for a reason, and sometimes that reason is you're an idiot and don't think things through or something. I like that.
Now, there is, among the leftists and the atheists, I have to say, as much as they spread lots of dumb stuff, dumb ideas, there is one thing that is very common and very dominant among them, which is that they often try to argue from a place of a very emotional compassion and a very misguided and misplaced sense of feeling bad for the others and for the minorities and all of that, and feeling like, you know, the Christian traditional guy at home, he's the bad guy, and those other minorities, no matter who they are, they must be the good guys. Let's protect them. It's a very stupid idea.
Do you see that among the left towards the Jews?
No, because...
And why?
Because the Jews have become because the Jews are successful people. They're successful people. They're integrated people. They do very well. They are often economically, educationally, intellectually, and so on, doing even better than the local traditional Christian population, white population. So they stick out as those who are better off than anyone else, which is why they don't deserve your compassion for those who are treated unfairly and those who don't have it very well. So you have to always, even if the worst people are at the bottom, and they are at the bottom because they stick to very horrible ideas and horrible things. You have to see them as the good guys who deserve your protection. This is basically the leftist mindset.
You know what's funny is that this is a perversion of Christian compassion.
Yes.
So
This is Christian.
this came from Christianity, and it's been distorted.
This is what Tom Holland argues, where he basically argues accurately, I would say, that much of the culture that we have in the West today, including the leftist culture, the liberalism, and all of that, is basically a perversion and distortion of the good values that people took from Christianity. It's the understanding each other, the seeing each other as equals before God, the compassion for the less fortunate, and so on. These are Christian values that people who are anti-Christianity take from Christianity without understanding that this is what Christianity gave them, and then they hate Christianity in return for perceived injustices within Christianity. It's so ironic. They think Christianity is bad, or Christian culture, Christian tradition is bad, it's unfair, it's mean, but they basically criticize the Christian culture and the Christian injustices and unfairness from a Christian perspective without understanding that this is what they're doing. It's the Christian culture that gave people freedoms. It's the Christian culture that brought forth what you call liberalism, what the democracies that we have in the West. The human rights, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights is based on a Western Christian mindset. These are Christian ideals that were perverted and distorted and are now used against tradition itself. It's dumb, you know. It's stupid, and unfortunately, Islam is a perfect culture or a perfect religion and a perfect culture that will happily take advantage of this and come here and say, yeah, cool. You guys keep doing that. You guys keep tolerating and attacking each other while we increase our numbers and start imposing our own laws and our own issues. This is what's happening in the UK, basically, and in other European countries.
Wow.
I would venture to say that the values that the secularists take are not per se Christian values, but I would call them biblical values, and in particular the Hebrew Bible values, because Western civilization, in particular American civilization, is founded upon the Hebrew Bible in particular. Even though the founders were primarily Christian, or various denominations of Christianity, the primary place in which the early colonies that were established, and then later when we broke off and became the United States, was premised on biblical tradition, the Hebrew Bible tradition, because it's the Hebrew Bible that centers on the idea of law and creating a society, a civil society. It's a book of law, and so that is the primary focus in it. Certainly the people that were the founding fathers believed in the gospel and they believed in Christianity as a whole, but as far as formulating the country and structure of the law and society, it was primarily based on the Hebrew Bible, and the value system and ideology and the construct is all based on the Hebrew Bible. And it is the Hebrew Bible that unites the Jewish world and the Christian world. That's why some people call it Judeo-Christian values. I like to call it Hebrew Bible values because that really kind of gets to the core of what it's about. But he did not hit on the head right over here. What is it that unites secular radical leftists with Islam? You'd think that these two, that radical Islam and radical leftism would be very diametrically opposed. Radical Islam is not particularly fond of women, is not equally treating women very nicely, does not treat people that are in the LGBTQ community very nicely, and so forth, among many other differences. And so the radical left, which at least on paper champions women and champions LGBTQ and has this compassion and wants to help the underdog and all of these things. So these would be two completely diametrically opposed ideologies. Why is it that radical leftists and radical Islam have this strange bedfellow relationship? And I think they did hit the nail on the head in the conversation. Maybe we'll elaborate and just for clarity's sake. in the secular leftist view of the world, the Marxist ideology is that there are only two types of people on planet Earth, and there are only two types of nations on planet Earth. There are either the oppressed and the oppressors, right? And so the only factor that makes one an oppressor or an oppressed person is the level of success that they have. So if someone, a nation or an individual, is successful, they got that way from oppressing others. And that it's not because they worked harder, it's not because of the decisions they make, it's not because of investments or innovation or anything like that, it's because they oppressed, right? That's the only conclusion that this false ideology concludes. And if a person or a nation is not successful, well, then they are considered an oppressed bunch of people. And that has nothing to do with the decisions that they made, the choices that they made, the lifestyle that they lived, nothing to do with anything. They are not successful because they are oppressed. And this is a false ideology, obviously, but it is the working ideology, the working worldview of the radical left, this Marxist view of the world. And in that worldview, if you look at things like Israel versus Palestine, then Israel is successful, so they are considered the oppressor. The Palestinians are not successful. It has nothing to do with the fact that they elected Hamas and have been only associated with radicals throughout their brief history. That has nothing to do with anything. It's because Israel is oppressing them. That is the way in which this is viewed. And so, in the scale of things, as bizarre as it is, the leftists will embrace the Arab world, the Islamic world, because by and large, except for nations that have a large supply of oil, many of the people in the Arab world are living in squalor, are not successful, and so they are seen as oppressed. And that is the unifying factor between them. Obviously, this is a false ideology, and if we were looking at things in reality, radical Islam and radical left really should have nothing to do with each other, let alone embrace each other and overlap each other and fight for the same causes and march in the same marches and so forth. But that is where this comes from. And so we have to recognize truth and what has become a perversion of the truth in order to see things for what they are. If you like this content overall, hit that subscribe button over there in the corner. We'd love to stay in touch. Take care.